Okay. Well, they say that imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, so thank you very much. I've had a very cheery day. It's great to see all this stuff happening. What I thought I'd quickly do is tell you a little bit about where our work is now, what we've been doing, because a lot of people have said the SFD is this and that, and it's quite complicated to sort of answer all those questions. So maybe I'll just tell you what I think we're doing, and then we can discuss it. Along the way, what I want to do is just reflect on a few of the things that we've kind of learned or realised as we go along, because I think that's the most interesting thing, is like, so what do we all do the next time we go around doing this sort of development? As you know, there's a promotion initiative. Here are all the people. Many of them are in the room. So do you want to wave, SFD promotion initiative people? Yeah, there's quite a few of them around. Okay. So what's an SFD? It is a diagram that shows the pathways from defecation to final fate. But a couple of other things which are very important. One is we have a very powerful mechanism, or a very important central mechanism, which is about recording data sources and being very explicit about the basis on which we make assumptions, which for us is a very important part of the process. And we also always produce a narrative report on the service delivery context. If any of you have read the original 2 papers on which all this work is based, which were published in JWashDev in 2014, you'll see a very nice and very central part of it is a service delivery assessment that assesses how things work institutionally all the way along the value chain. Because one of the things that we observed was that when people do institutional analysis, they tend to be fixated on one end or other of the chain and not think right along it. What you end up with, or what you can see on the website and in the resources, there's the idea that you've got the diagram, but there's also a set of manuals which are about how you can collect data, how you can make estimates, how we define all our variables. So there's a whole load of sort of backroom stuff which goes into the generation of the data from which we produce the diagram. It's my opinion, actually, that the diagram, although it's very important and powerful, how you produce it or what it looks like in the end is not the big question. The really interesting question is, what does it actually represent? And that's what's been really interesting for us. So just to say, on the service delivery context assessment, we have a set of standard questions. So very much, I'm presuming that the IRC initiative drew from this kind of idea that we've essentially got, and this is based itself on the World Bank's own service delivery assessment that was used in the country status overview processes, which were preparation processes for Africa SAM. But as I say, we do that analysis all the way along the value chain, which is quite important. Do you have a policy for sanitation? Yes. Do you have a policy for household toilets? Yes. Do you have a policy for emptying of toilets? Oh, no. So it's quite helpful to just sort of force yourself to think along that. You know, this initiative has been going along for some time. We have 45 or so examples on the website, and we're carrying on now doing some more. It's been used in Kampala. Here are some workshop activities going on in Kampala. It's been used by GIZ in Uganda as part of town planning processes, so embedded into wider town planning, municipal planning. Here are some people in Moshi in Tanzania. And actually, Moshi for me is one of the most interesting examples of where a whole bunch of people suddenly said, aha, we're not talking about sewerage, actually, are we? We're talking about on-site sanitation. So for me, Moshi is always a very exciting example. And the GIZ colleagues who led that process had, I think, a very positive experience, no? There's also been work on use of SFDs to inform the Zambian national sanitation strategy, some work in Uganda, lots of work going on in India. I won't bore you on the India because we've talked about India quite a lot. And also in Ethiopia, we've been working with a collaboration, a network of cities in Ethiopia to do this work, but also for them to then get together to start thinking about planning.